Also, yeah, I have one more question.
Yeah, of course.
For the health kit for the week 2, I was kind of confused. So for the first column is for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All those columns is the one that we commonly eat, and then just go down the row with the nutritions.
The food thing. Well, yeah, take stuff that you commonly eat, and then I just wanted one vegetable and one fruit to kind of see the comparison stuff a little bit.
Oh,
That's
okay,
how I
okay.
do it for myself. Yeah. Did you do it
I
like
do
that?
have a question.
Yes.
Can I turn in link discussions?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good to bring that up. Whenever you get whenever you're running late, don't be too concerned. It does give you 1 point per day off as a deduction, but at the end, if that's a problem with changing the grade or anything, we'll take those out. I usually just take them out. So if it's don't put stress into it. It just helps the class to more or less stay on target with everyone. When I didn't do that, it was a little bit more. Some people fall behind, and some people go, usually not ahead. So if you're a day or so late, no worries. If I've graded already what you're working on, and I give you just partial credit because you didn't reply in a discussion, once you reply, it doesn't alert me, but I go back and then give you guys the credit. If you need you can also text me when you finished it, and then I go in and try to do it right away, so you get the point value. But in that respect, look at these assignments like you can improve on them, and then you get the credit for what you're doing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right. Good. Any other questions on this sort of stuff? It's good. I'm glad you're bringing these up because that way I know what's going raunchy and what's not going raunchy. And the one thing I do want to bring up and to discuss is the incongruency between the lab and the lecture. We've done it in that fashion previously, and it hasn't really been too much of a problem or a problem at all. It's sort of coming up now that some of you write that there is a little confusion with that. Is it tolerable, or should we work on opening more modules, or how can I sort of support that? Is that something that's bothersome to you guys too? Anybody? If it's not an issue, really, then we just deal with it individually. And if I don't get any feedback, I'm assuming it's all right. How many are you here? Yeah, we got 3 of you guys here. Hello. Yes.
I think the biggest thing is that lab and lecture aren't really matching up.
Right. That's
so
what
I think that's kind of where the disconnect is.
Right. That's what I want to talk about because
week 2 with you is chemistry, but in lab we were working on tissues. Mm-hmm. So I think it just.
And then what about when in week 4? Because my thinking is in the past that then it sort of congruence itself more or less up, but I'm not totally sure if we're needing to work on that a little bit. Once we get to the muscles and to the bone kind of things. So I hope. And the other thing we can do is I can also open more modules so you can individually work on that, and I can work with Mr. Stray on that way. So can you guys let me know how I can help you with that if it stays a problem? Please.
Yeah, for sure. I think this week will be better since lecture is on cells.
Yes.
So I think it'll start matching up.
Okay, good. Then let's hope for that, and otherwise you just keep talking to me and we'll figure out a solution. Mm-hmm. So then let's go into the material, because this week on my end, the lecture end, we're gonna have the lecture cytology tissue, and it's been open for a little, I think since last Friday probably. And we do questions on that, and then we have a little bit more concept discussion. I think it's just 2 questions on this one. Oh wait, what is that? Oh, yeah. It's just the two questions: protein synthesis, mitosis. Those are sort of some of the big questions in terms of the cell function and what the cell does. And the rest is usually cell parts. The other thing I do in the cell is I kind of have you guys, or you guys do some microscope probably stuff, but in the pandemic we didn't do lots of that. So we did a cell model thing where I have, and I kept it because it's very helpful to learn the cell parts. And so basically what I ask you to do is go to the kitchen and look around. A lot of you have kids, and figure out different things that look like or function like the different organelles, like the different body parts, I mean the cell parts. Where is the organelles that I want? See, here are the different parts of the cell that I would like to represent with something in the household. Like, for example, the mitochondria is the thing that makes the energy in the cell. I don't know if you've covered that in with Mr. Estrella yet. And for example, a battery is something that people use for that, or a piece of chocolate or something. So something that functionally does a similar thing, or it looks like it, kind of. Some people make a pizza, and it's not really that you have to be spending too much time thinking, being too particular what is what. What's more important is that we go through these different parts and we learn by doing something with them. That's really the magic in doing this kind of stuff. And then the other thing you do is you do a list, make a legend, include a brief description of what the part function is. And so that way we have an activity of learning more about the cells in a way that hopefully after that many of you remember it, so we don't have to study and memorize it too much. And so that's really what we're doing this week. And then the food label analysis, I just have a brief discussion. I'm sure some of you probably did that already. The health kids, just afterwards, I have a discussion of, what did you get out of it? Was it boring? Was it all right? And then, we move on and go to the next thing. So don't spend much time on that. This hour, don't worry about that. Don't even, I don't know what that's an hour. That should be like 15 minutes. Somehow they make us put these time limits on, and it's completely off. So that's, unfortunately, I'm sorry about that. And then just finish up with a Padlet. And what I wanted to talk mostly this week, and again, if there's any questions, just please, interrupt me, especially now that we're getting into the test itself that's going to come up. So wait, I think the test is available. When was that? What's the timeline on the test? 30th to the 3rd. That's over the weekend. It's Friday, right? Friday to Tuesday, I think. Is that correct? Anybody?
I think so.
I think so, right? Okay. And I can have, if somebody is like, needs it open Thursday, or I can text me. That's no problem to open it a little earlier if you want to move ahead. I just thought, after the lab is finished, then I can open it on Friday and you can work through the weekend, but have a little more time if the weekend is busy with other stuff. The test itself is a one-time deal. Here's actually the instructions up here. You have a 55 true false multiple choice question in the first exam for lecture. They're all like that actually in the lecture portion part, and then you can use your material to do the test, the exam. You have 75 minutes. You only get one attempt, and that's the difference between the quizzes and the test, is you have only one attempt and you have a time limit. But that's, hold on real quick. If somebody has a problem with the 75 minutes, I don't have a problem giving you guys extra time, especially if you have paperwork, but also otherwise. I want to make sure you use a test in my field, in my part, sort of as the last time around working on that material, and then from my end you can move on to the next section. So none of my tests are cumulative, and so that on the lecture side. So keep that in mind. That's very important. So once we're done that's why I'm doing a test after the small stuff, and then we move to the skull and to the spine and to all of the bones and muscles and things like that, and then move forward to the heart, etc. And so when you look at the test, what I pulled up is actually the test review, and the test review is very extensive. And I opened it before, and I think I discussed it previously last Monday briefly. Make sure all the dots, all the bullets on that test review you understand. And if you understand all those bullets, then you'll be good for the test. The test will not cover anything other than that. And I mean, not that that's nothing. It's a fairly long list. And of course, the cytology has questions on it, but then the histology is less and less in terms of the material. Still, I have a lot that I need you to know, but it's all spelled out exactly what I need you to know for the test, for the thing. And then this is a PDF version of it. So if you download that, you can print it out basically, and if you know all of the stuff, then you're good for the test. And then during the test, you just reference back to it and also reference back to all your notes. And then hopefully that will solidify that material, and will be all right. And usually people do fine in this exam because we have it be open book, or I have it be open book. And also I try to give you ample time. Any questions to that?
I was gonna ask that if you had like notes on a Google Doc, were you able to like go back to the test and then look through your notes, or would it just?
You should be able to. That's a browser question, right?
Yeah, if I had like my notes on it, because I know that some professors would just like have it on their like paper. But
no, I don't mind about that. No.
Okay.
No, that would be just that would just be a technical question. That's the only thing. But if you solve the technical, jump back and forth, I don't mind.
Okay.
I don't.
Thank you.
No. My interest is that you are using these things to organize your material about, and one of the things that I always had trouble with in college was if it's just too open-ended, and I don't really, especially in science, that's sort of defined, at least the way we can look at it from a starting point. And so make sure you use those, the open book perspective, that you have your material somewhat organized. And I think if you don't at this point, the best place to start is to test review, and just print out those, or have them downloaded or screenshotted or whatever, or write them on this. These bullet points are actually great for flashcards. That's what I kind of designed that stuff to be like. Not too many words, just the essence. But depending on how far of your studies are, or how your studies are, what you're doing and what you like to do, then I would just adapt it to that. And all of my lecture tests are having a test review, and I always try to open a test review at the beginning of, and I think this time we did it week 2. It wasn't the beginning, but at the beginning of the section of what we're studying, and therefore you can always also use that as your starting point. And what do I mean? As your starting point, and work backwards. Have those dots, or have those dots already up, and know what I'm asking for, and then work backwards with the videos and make sure you understand all those points. Is that kind of sensible?
Yes.
Good. All right. Good. So that, from my perspective, is really all I have. What else you got? Some questions or comments or concerns?
So for the pronto,
Yes.
So for the groups for our health, is that like mandatory? Like you have to
that I know that's always a question. I mean, the groups, and I'm thinking the way I'm structuring it now. Finally, yeah, years into it, I kind of got it. Instead of you always, originally my thing was, everybody does it, and then everybody responds every day, and of course everybody gets tired of that in a few weeks, in a few days. So it's not really mandatory, but I would like to have some interaction. I just want to make sure you guys are doing it personally. That's really the main thing. So it's sort of like a keeping each other on track kind of thing. But I'm not tracking the prontos. Look, I'm getting some prontos right now. But I realized what I'm going to do now is just I raise up a question once in a while, make sure I check in with you guys. And then, if you're on the pronto, if you're doing something, if it's not too overwhelming, just text back and have a little check in. And then we kind of keep each other going a little. Because, that's for me, like drinking the water, like it's hard when I get stressed or I do, too many things at once. I forget, and then it's it goes by, but it's something that is good for me to do, or for all of us to do, because it's not really asking an excessive amount. It's just kind of the baseline, and this gives us an opportunity to learn or to get into the habit of it. And so, if I've spent out of Toronto, or you feel like send out of Toronto because you have a day or some insight about, hey, look, the water, I'm like not snacking all day or something like that, then put it up into the group chat. Then that way we keep a little bit of a conversation going.
Okay.
Sorry, it's not clearer than I'm learning as I'm going as well. So just all right, good. Anybody else a question, comment? But thanks for the Padlet bringing that up. I mean the Pronto. Yeah, the Padlet too. I'm going to go through them after this conversation here. And if nobody has any other concerns, we can close it out, because you can just send me a Pronto or a text if you have any questions that come up during the week, or concerns you need to talk about them, or have more insight. Even if it's material, we can always do an extra study session or something if you're interested in that. All right. Good. I hear the thumbs up. All right. Well, with that, let's close it out. Have a wonderful, wonderful week, and enjoy yourselves. Don't get too hot this week, I think, right? All right. This is the right hand. Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.